Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to Horseshoe Bay, where nobody talks like this.
No, they're in Maine. I mean, there is a Maine accent.
I don't know that one.
You don't know the Maine accent?
I don't think so. Can you do it?
Maybe. I have family in Maine. There's a joke. And I can't remember how the whole joke goes. But the punchline is like, and my dad does it in Maine accent all the time. And he's very exaggerated because it's my mom's family that's from Maine. So my dad's making fun of them. Yeah, but it's like, you can't get there from here.
It's southern.
It's like, they're like the northern South.
How interesting.
You can't get there from
all
here.
I know about Maine is that all of Stephen King's books are there.
Yes.
And his spooky mansion is there. And growing up, it was like my dream place to go, and then I got older and just still know nothing about it. I just know spooky stuff may happen there. Maybe. It
not a lot of people in Maine.
I guess on this show, it's a very creepy show. So what we're talking about today, we're diving back into,
and they just are like the town like doesn't believe in the supernatural, but also has like a supernatural festival going on every other week.
They're weirdos, man. So when we first started watching this show, I would tell Lauren, or like I would just vaguely say, there's traces of Buffy here. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the ensemble group and they're like kids solving mysteries, kind of like Buffy did. And there's the older man who's like a father figure, and Nancy has the father figures. And then the town really, it gave me the same kind of vibe, because if you watch the first few seasons of Buffy, it's like, why is this town stupid? Like, what's going on? And then you find out like there's corruption and the cops are like working with the corrupt mayor to keep it corrupt and like on the hellmouth. And you don't really get that explanation in Nancy Drew. It's just kind of like, they're dumb. They're just actually all really stupid.
And then they also do the same thing as Supernatural when like the kids are all like, yes, the supernatural exists, and they're like doing shit. And when a civilian shows up, they're just like, go surreal, and the civilian's like, okay. And then they're a part of it.
You have to. It was so funny. I mean, because now we're in season 4, and hopefully listening to this, you've been keeping up. And Nick has a new partner, and it's this person, Jade. And Jade was like, I don't want to get involved with you if you're into like weird shit. And I think that they were saying like criminal stuff.
Right, criminal or like cultish stuff.
Yeah. And they come in and Nick's in the middle of like doing the hottest thing I've ever seen anyone on this show do. Just like ripping his shirt off.
Nancy exists, Rachel. Nancy exists and just stands around and looks like that.
No. Nancy's like me and Lauren talk about this all the time. She is one of the most beautiful people we've just ever seen, point blank.
Like the timeless beauty, you know? Like you could throw her into like Audrey Hepburn kind of.
Very Taylor Swift. The bone structure Taylor has the same look where you can plop them in like 1940 and give them that hairstyle and the red lipstick. And it's like, oh yeah, you could have been an actress or whatever. And they're just beautiful. But Nick, I have a bias against Ned in general, like the character of Ned in Nancy Drew and the Nancy Drew
because of the computer games.
Because of the computer games, yeah, because I just didn't like him. Because
she belongs with Frank.
Annoying, and she belongs with the Hardy Boys, romantically or otherwise. Yeah. So I'm always like, you're in the way. So I went in with that bias for Nick, or it's so funny now I call him Nick because I wouldn't for the longest time. I was like, it's Ned. You're Ned.
Ned Nickerson. His name actually is Ned Nickerson, and I know. Nick rightfully was like, Ned's a fucking dumb name.
I know. Even his name is dumb. But Nick has come so far, man. And he's like shot to the top of my list of favorites. And he was so good in that last episode. He was so sexy. It was so sexy. It was a good thing Nancy was knocked out. She might have woken back up and been like, hold on now. I can't be with Ace, but I just wanted to mention that. It was important to me that we talked about
extremely important to you. You freaked out a little bit last night. Yeah. But anyway,
man.
his partner Jade was like, "Oh, is this what you're doing? I'm into it. Let's go." Like, it was
yeah. I was like, okay, you can't not watch that. Like, you can't watch that and not be attracted to that. It's insane. It was insane what he was doing. He was just casually talking. He's like, I don't want to lose you. Doof, doof, doof. But I need you to be protected. Doof, 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 doof. Casually slaughtering, killing with like sledgehammers and stuff. And they're bad guys. They're like ghosts from a haunted board game. But Jade was like, yes, please. Yes.
This isn't creepy. I'm good with this.
Which, I don't know. We were talking about it last night too. They really better fix this George and Nick thing. Because if they're doing the whole like, sometimes relationships don't work out and we're taking the realistic approach. And like Nick has this new person in his life and it doesn't need to go back. I don't want that. I'm not here looking for that. I'm here looking for the couples that I like to be together. So fix it. Fix it. Tristan too. Get Tristan the fuck out of there. I've had enough of him.
Is that his name? I didn't even bother to memorize his name.
Yeah.
Gross.
I think
it is.
Watch me be wrong.
He's Lobster Boy.
Lobster Boy.
You called him that Greek fuck like the entire time. So
okay, like, all right, so I'm Greek and I can like smell a Greek a mile away, okay? From the brows and the hair and his skin. Like I see it in him. Even if his parents aren't Greek, Tristan,
he's adopted.
Somewhere in your lineage.
He's adopted.
Yeah, well, somewhere in Tristan's lineage.
No, but I'm saying he's
Greek
adopted.
People.
It doesn't matter that his parents don't look Greek.
Yeah, I know. But I was also more talking about the actor because I could Google it and he could be like nothing close. But I'm just saying, I don't have his 23 in me. I'm telling you, somewhere in the line, there's Greek people. So I started calling him Kostas from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants because I fucking hate Kostas from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. He knocked up some girl and left Lena all alone. Mm-hmm. Horrible stuff. Anyway, he reminded me of him.
Fucking broke me as a child. I had to read.
It was bad.
He is Brazilian.
Somewhere down the line, I'm telling you, somewhere down the line, someone said, you want some souvlaki, you want a gyro to a girl in his lineage, and I'm telling you it's there. I feel it in my soul. But he just reminded me of Kostas on the boat.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, damn, you look Greek and you're on a boat? Kostas. Bastard. I'm not saying Kostas correctly. That's not how you're supposed to say it. Kostas is short for Constantine. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to do any of the Greek accents today. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that bastard. Or Tristan, really. We're actually here to talk about the three characters that we didn't cover in our first episode. So before you listen to this
his dad is Italian Portuguese. So.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that you got closer to Greece.
Oh, yeah? What's his great-great-great-grandmother?
No, if his dad is Italian Portuguese, probably somebody on his father's side fucked with a Greek person. So
I bet. I absolutely would bet money on it. You know, sometimes Italians look Greek, though, too.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Like, I'm both. Leave me alone. I can say whatever I want about my people.
Thanks, research
I don't know what
team.
I was saying. Oh, yeah.
Nancy
you can go
and
back
Ace.
and listen to the first episode to get Nancy, Ace, George, and Nick coverage, where we talked about how we've got our first ever Ravenclaw couple with Nancy and Ace, which is amazing.
Our
only
only
example
still.
we have of it.
Yep. Still our only.
It's unbeatable, dude. It's like, I don't know if we'll ever see anything like it again.
It's extremely representative. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is episode 52 for anybody who doesn't want to scroll.
And then you get the stereotypical Gryffindor Slytherin relationship with Nick and George, but it is one I would like to see together. They need to get back together.
Correct.
But we're on our way to fixing all the problems in the most dramatic and torturous way possible.
This is the last season. If you have not seen the show, I'm pretty sure that I've said this before, but if you haven't seen the show, you should watch it. Truly. Rachel and I started, we would have watched it anyway because we're a huge Nancy Drew, I want to say closet because we don't really talk about it, because that's because nobody has any taste. Nobody has any taste. And we're sitting here having played the best computer games in all of history. So really big Nancy Drew fans, so we would have watched this anyway. But Supernatural ended basically right before the show premiered. And this show scratches the Supernatural itch really well. It's the same vibes. It's a good filler. So we really, really like it. We weren't sure how we were going to feel about the Supernatural element at first, because if you're a real fan and you know, Nancy doesn't do the Supernatural in her books. And in the computer games, even when she's dealing with a Supernatural case, it ends up being gas poisoning. So
it's very Scooby-Doo.
Yes, it's very Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So, I personally appreciated that they actually did let the Supernatural be the Supernatural, but it was weird to see at first in Nancy's world. But they changed a lot of things from the regular route of Nancy Drew anyway, including like the town, the school, like tons of things. What they did with it is probably one of my favorite just adaptations ever that's like ever been done of something. I really, really enjoy it.
I agree, because you remember there was that really bad Nancy Drew movie with fucking Emma Roberts. That was awful.
So when I was watching this, George came in, he was watching a little bit with me, and he was like, I don't know if this girl, he's like, this isn't exactly how I pictured Nancy in my head based on the games. And I'm like, that's because the voice in the games is a much older woman. Mm-hmm. So you're not picturing a young woman, even though she's supposed to be. The voice of Nancy in the computer games is iconic, irreplaceable, but she does sound older.
She's also got one of those like should be from the 1960s like voices.
For
like
sure.
As a young woman in the 60s, she's got
definitely.
That. Yeah.
So he's like, I just like, she doesn't fit for me. And I was like, okay, go see who they picked for the movie. Like went and looked it up, and he was like, oh my God, never mind. She's perfect. Never mind. He got on board real quick. It's not hard to. She's extremely believable as Nancy. She's the perfect pick for Nancy, truly.
Very good.
I'll be very sad to see her go. I hope that
she's
she
gone
continues
already.
to play the games, and we'll talk about it so that I can love her more.
Do you follow her on Twitter? I follow her on Twitter.
I don't know.
Kennedy McMahon is her name.
Probably do.
She just tweeted yesterday because the strike went into effect at midnight last night, and she tweeted how like, I'm so sorry that I can't like tweet along with you guys anymore for Nancy Drew. She's like, but I'll be here watching all of you like laughing. I was like, aw.
She can like the tweets.
Yes.
She doesn't have to say anything. Likes are not endorsements. Yeah, that sucks. But how many episodes do we have to go?
It was 7. Done? So I think there are 13. So 5 more.
Sweet. Okay, I'm not quite ready to let it go yet. Also, they have a lot of things
more.
that need to be.
I can't do math.
They need to wrap up a lot of things, and it doesn't feel rushed. They're doing a really great job, and you don't need to worry just because it's canceled that it's like not going to be resolved. Obviously, they went in knowing that it was done,
which is lucky.
So
I mean, not all shows get that luxury.
Nope, they really don't. There's been a lot of shows. There was this one show on Netflix, The Society with Catherine Newton. If I could get any show renewed, I was so hooked on that one first episode. I can't believe that it didn't get a second season. I'm still really pissed about it. So yeah, a lot of shows don't get this. I'm really happy.
This is random, but you said Netflix. Did you see that Greta Gerwig got a deal with Netflix to redo the Narnia
stuff? Oh,
yeah. I just thought about you because I don't know how she's going to do Ben Barnes, not Caspian, but like.
It's really unfortunate for whoever's going to play Caspian because they're never going to come near that. But, who could? It's Ben Barnes. Love of my life.
The children were pretty well cast too, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah. You know what? They actually were. I remember being a kid and being like so happy. This is
how you pictured them, right? Yeah.
Because Harry Potter didn't do that for me.
Yeah.
They were nothing like I pictured.
Yeah.
Nothing. So it was very exciting. It was very well cast, those movies, and also really well done. They hold up well.
They do. I think so.
But
like
you know
the
what?
lion looks good. Do not
great.
cite the dark magic to me, you witch. Like,
oh, hell yeah, Aslan. Okay. So today what we're talking about are Nancy's 2 daddies and her best British friend,
Here's
Bess.
a warning to the show right now. Make them gay. Or I'll be upset.
If you don't make them gay, I'll be under your bed. And that's just all I'm saying. I'm not telling you what I'm going to do. It's not a threat. Don't come for me. I'm just telling you, I'll be real mad. They should
under your bed reminding you that you didn't make them gay.
Reminding you. I'll just be slipping Post-its up there, like gay, and they'll just say gay on them. Because she deserves to have her dads be together, and they are they're very well matched.
They have a really good relationship. Yeah.
It was so funny because I completely expected to like not at all care about any like storyline that wasn't involving the main kids because I was there. Like I wanted to see the group. Like they were my little Scooby gang again. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how they did it. They made Ryan really great and they made Carson really funny. And then they made them this duo.
I can't wait to talk about Ryan because Ryan has had genuinely, I'm being genuine, one of the most like realistic and best and well-paced redemption arcs that I've like ever seen on any TV show. It wasn't like a lot of the time redemption arcs fall into that that trap of being like, we want you to like this guy now. So it's kind of like 2 episodes where he does like a big good thing. And then they're like, now he's good, like him. And Ryan's is really, really well paced. And it it sneaks up on you like it should, where you're like, you were just cheating on your wife with an 18, 19-year-old, and now I love you. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Because they make him work for it. They make him be accountable.
Yes.
They make him they do make him suffer for it. He doesn't just get to be part of anything, but he also is such an important character now. Like, knowing what we know about his relationship to Nancy, you can't just sideline him. So they had to do something and make it realistic, because she wasn't just going to accept him, and neither were the fans. So they figured it out.
Right.
They
yeah.
really fucking figured it out.
Especially thinking about the fact that if you did come into this as a Nancy Drew fan and they were like, Carson Drew isn't her real dad, you probably would have been what the fuck? No.
It was confused. Yeah.
Yeah. I had confused feelings at first because I was like, that's viscerally wrong. She's Carson Drew's kid. That's just what it is. But they did it somehow. I don't know.
I'm still waiting for the Ace Hardy Boy reveal. That's the other thing. I'm under the bed for you for the gay thing, but I'm in your closet for the
give us his last name. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if they need to have rights in order to call him, because he's technically, if they just say his last name is Hardy and never say that his name is actually Frank.
They need to do that.
No, I know,
first
but
name.
they wouldn't need rights if they were just like, his last name's Hardy, because we would be making assumptions from there. It would be if they were calling him Frank Hardy, that it would be like, you probably need to pay somebody some money. So
do they just not understand how easy it is to slip in?
They've so deliberately not revealed his name.
Yeah.
Everybody else has a last name, and they've never, we've met his parents and they've never said their last name. His dad was an officer in the police force, and they've never called him officer whatever. He's I don't even remember what they call him, but he's either Ace's dad or he is something else.
Or his first name.
Yeah, his first name. They call him by his first name. The kids do.
Now, I don't know that they were trying to wait to see if they could get the rights to it, whatever. Okay, you're in the last season now. Just say his first name is really Frank.
Penalty.
She could be like, I love you, Ace. And he's like, I want you to know my real name. It's actually Frank. I don't really like it that much, so I go by Ace. Come on. And Ace is such a nickname name.
It is. No, it is.
It's something your dad calls his son. Yeah, Ace. It's, come on.
You could do this so easily. With the secret brother. And then it's come on. Why would you do that?
No. We're no dummies. We saw you were planting the seeds. Just follow through, because you don't even if you don't, I know he's Frank Hart. You don't have to follow through, but you have to follow through. Just confirm my thinking. Okay, but this episode is not about him and Nancy. We have to stop.
But we will be talking about him and Nancy, because they're currently going through every incredible ship trope that could ever be conceived right now.
It's beautiful. They're doing this so well. I'm getting everything I want every episode. It's great. Just drag it out. Make it hurt. Drag it out. Yes. Who should we start with? Let's see. We could start with Bess, just to wrap up the main group of the kids.
And we were talking about this before we started recording. We really should have done Bess with the rest of the kids.
I know.
But we were planning ahead at that. This was before we were just do whoever each episode. And we were still trying to stick to 4 or 3 people. So we were we can't just do Carson and Ryan. And the next episode, we've got to have a third person. So we were let's save Bess, because the other two are paired up. They were dating and whatever. Exactly. Bess does not have a girlfriend in the group. Although I love her girlfriend right now, whose name I don't recall. It's the American Indian girl.
I don't remember her name either. I don't know, guys. Bess, it's not Bess Erasure. It's not because we didn't want her there, but it was very much that you had 2 couples, you had a couple and a couple, and it just made sense to just kind of do it together. But we do feel bad about it. So apologies to Bess if you're listening to this out there.
I'm looking up her girlfriend's name.
Where did you go?
I'm looking up her girlfriend's name. I don't want to just call her that one girl the whole time.
Yep, it's Addie.
Is it? Okay, yeah. I remember the first one because I hated her. Lizbeth. The fucking...
Yes, I hated Lizbeth. Me too.
Fucking hated her.
You were trash, Lizbeth.
And Bess just kind of ghosted her. She was...
Yeah.
She didn't show up for that date. You remember? She went and stared at her and then left.
Well... When we're talking about Bess, we have to talk about the fact that when she was younger, she was very avoidant of things. To the
also,
fact,
yes,
to the
and
point
also that she
running.
is a part of the Marvin family, and then she gets kicked out of the Marvin family. So
Yeah, fuck those guys. But she so badly wanted to be part of that and to find a family and a community, which leads you to understand that she is a Hufflepuff. So when we're first introduced to Bess, she has a really believable American accent. And they faked our asses out. They hugely faked our asses out, man. To the point that me and Lauren were like, oh, so she's probably an American actress and now they're making her like do this British accent, but apparently not. It's the British. Other way around. She's British.
So like props to the actress, because I was like, it was literally to the point where when they found her out and that she was actually English and they switched, I was like staring at my screen like, that's not a real British. I was like, this is the most put on British accent that I've ever heard. It was insanely believable. Yeah, she did a good job. But so she rolls up into town. We find out the rest of the gang doesn't know this. Does not have a place to live. She's living in her van. Does not have any money. She starts working at the Claw, and it's revealed that she is a thief. She's good at stealing things. Which I think is because she had such a bad life. Like, if I remember correctly, her mom kicked her out really young, and yes,
it was bad. So you kind of have to learn how to survive out there. So she becomes a full-on klepto.
Yes, I mean, she stole Tiffany's ring was the first like big thing because then that's how she was wrapped up in like part of being the suspects for Tiffany's death. All of them were accused because they were all there and had some motive somehow. Yeah, I downloaded a memory. Did you?
Yeah, because we were talking about her before, and we were talking about how we were trying to recall everything from season 1, and we were like, we know Bess is a lesbian. Like, it's not
right.
It's not debatable. Like, right? Like, she likes women, and now I'm remembering the marriage to the first guy was definitely a sham. He was some fucking old guy, and he taught her how to steal.
Yes, yeah, they were partners.
So now it's all connecting. I was just thinking, I did it to myself because I was like, oh, she had to learn how to steal to survive because her bitch mom kicked her out. It's like, maybe so. But now I'm remembering that old bastard definitely groomed her.
She's saying old like he was like a gray-haired man. He was like in his later 30s.
She's like 18. He's a grooming freak.
No, he is. It was an abusive relationship. Like, she had to run away from it. She had to get him. They were in the airport, I think, leaving the country anyway because they had like exhausted their ability to steal there, and she got him caught by the TSA, so she could TSA, but she got him caught by airport security, so she could get the fuck out of there because it was an abusive relationship. But we're jumping ahead. That was like season 3, I think, that he showed up.
I think she gets him done in season 2, like after she joins the group, and they're really
no. He shows up and says that she has to cut. That was season 3 because the Bobbsey twins were around. Yeah, wasn't this?
Oh my god, the Bobbsey twins.
No, that was season 2. That was season 2 because Temperance was season 3.
So much has happened.
That was season 2.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm very much in a season 4 space right now in my brain. But yeah, I thought it was season 2.
No, don't fuck Amanda. She was fine. Fuck Gil Bobbsey. Anyway.
Yeah, bastard. Yeah, so she joins the crew. As an American, they all think she's this like regular girl, and she's like working at the diner and everything. If I remember correctly, I don't think George liked her very much at first because she wasn't good.
George didn't like anybody.
Waitress.
George didn't like anybody.
But we were talking about before how she immediately does connect with Ace, and her and Ace have this really good friendship.
It's very cute.
So,
but she's like,
she didn't immediately get along with everyone, but she did with Ace.
She did with Ace. Because Ace, I think, knew before anybody else that she was lying. So he was kind of like,
he probably clocked it.
I know. I think he did. So they would like talk about that with each other. But Rachel and I were talking beforehand that like Bess is kind of like the group like guidance counselor almost, or like advice girl.
It's like their Annie Edison.
Yeah, they all, and it's not like she hates it. She's like actively meddling in their lives. Like she's trying, and it's to make them happy. Like right now with what's going on with Nancy and Ace. She's like telling Nancy, you can't be with Ace. I really want you to date. And she's like actively setting up moments for Nancy to go on dates and meet other people. Like she wants them all to be happy. That's just who Bess is. It's her little community. And she's like, I'm part of this community and I, in the nicest way, know what's best for you. So like, I want to help you get there. She's a very genuine Hufflepuff. She's not one that's like, yes, she's not one that's
she's not underhanded. She's not like
she's really very open about her meddling. She's like, I am full on meddling. Like,
she does have the Hufflepuff like judginess of things, but it's in like a cute way where she'll be like, "Really? That's what you're going with? No, actually, let me just throw a whole party for you."
Do you want to think a little harder about that?
Yeah. So you've got the typical Hufflepuff judginess there, but she's just very sweet. Like she's an actual kind, genuine person, and you often see that in her relationships too, because she was really into Lisbeth, like. Really,
but then
really
it turned out Lisbeth was lying to her and somewhat using her because she was investigating the Marvins. So, fuck you, Lisbeth.
Is that what messed up her whole relationship with the Marvins?
Yes. No. No.
Something happened.
Else.
Oh no, it was something she stole, I think.
Yeah, she took something for a case or for something. She asked for something, then they wouldn't give it to her, and no, it didn't fuck up. It fucked up her relationship with Lisbeth because Lisbeth was acting as the Marvin chauffeur, I think, and then it came out. Was it the Hudsons?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it came out that she was part of the state police, FBI, what the fuck ever, and she was undercover. And she was investigating the Hudsons and the Marvins for like corrupt business shit, which they are absolutely doing. They're bad people. But Bess at the time had just found out, or she knew from her mom that she was related to the Marvins. That's why she showed up in Horseshoe Bay, because she wanted to get to know her family. So she was trying to introduce herself to the family and to be a part of the family. And obviously she was like, I'm not going to help you go after my family. Like, I really can't do that. So yeah, that fucked it up for her.
Yeah. She really, like, I just remember that she really betrays Bess in some way, and I just don't.
Lisbeth?
There was like a point that it was like there was like a final straw, like, because she
Bess
is
showed up.
A grade A snooper. Like she found out. She like went through. She's like, your fucking Facebook. You didn't exist before like 10 years ago. Like what is this? Whatever. And she figures it out. And I think
that's the other thing about Bess too. She's like the social media online person guru. Because remember that episode where they had that monster that like the more people knew about it, the weaker it got. And she was the one who like put it all on social media and like got it trending or whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. She knows how to work. So she's very Snoopy too. Like she just uses her power in a different way than Nancy. Like, so Nancy can't let go of the truth. She needs to find the answer for like its more logical reasons. She needs to, or her brain's gonna itch. And Bess is nosy. Like, so it's not so much of a snoop. It's like she's just like me for real. I need to know what's going on. I need to know all the business. Why did you stop posting together? Did you break up? Let me know. I know I haven't talked to you in 15 years. It's okay. I need to know.
Oh, that's me too. That's me too.
Yeah. So she's very relatable that way. Very relatable. She's not that relatable in other ways, but she is with that. And it's just nice. Like, it's nice that they all know that they can depend on her when they're going through something. So, like we said, her and Ace had a really good relationship from the jump. But now, specifically with Ace going through what he's going through with Nancy, she's like so there for him. And she's so there just to like, for anybody. Man, if they're going through anything emotional, they can really rely on her. And
I just remembered something about Bess.
Yeah.
She had that relationship with the ghost in George's body.
Oh, Odette?
Yes.
Is it Odette?
Yeah.
Yep. Talking about dramatic, man.
I can, only a Hufflepuff could do this too. She so easily was like, that's not George. And totally was like, I don't see a problem with it. Well, George was like, I have a problem with this.
Yeah. George was nice though. I think one time, she eventually did let them have.
After they like told her, they were doing it like secretly, right? Because George would black out when Odette took over. So Bess wasn't telling her that Odette was spending time with her when George was not conscious, which wasn't great, Bess. But
well, the other thing that strikes me as very Hufflepuff about Bess, and I remember us laughing about it. I think it was season 3, because Temperance is season 3, right?
Yes.
The whole reason she gets like mentored by Temperance is because she's mad at the rest of her friends.
Yeah.
Like, never listen to me.
I'm not useless.
Don't take me serious.
I'm not useless.
Yeah. She's like, you're not going to make me feel useless, and you're all going to be like little detectives and shit. And Temperance is like, well, I'll like tutor you in the mystical arts, basically. And she's like, you know what? It's a great fucking idea. And she like goes and does that. And it ends up being a really good thing, because she saved their asses a lot by now with witchcraft. which they really need.
She has,
It helps that she works for the Historical Society.
Yeah, she became the keeper because Hannah was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here after she was kept in that in-between place for like a week and a half.
I don't really blame her, yeah.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, but it was sad because it was like one of those things, it was one of those classic characters that I wanted to see more of, but I guess they didn't really know where to put her, so it's all right. They like trapped her and then we're like, all right, get the fuck out of here. You don't need to be here. But it was great because it opened up this. I mean, Bess went from like not really knowing where she fit to now being really important. They call her for fucking everything. They're like, we need this relic. There's ancient lore that needs to be studied. And she's like, got it. Like to everything. And she really does. So even though she's like a baby witch still, she's really, really useful. And you can see that she's now like thriving in herself. She is. Because she has a place in the group.
That's what I thought was so crazy too. That Hannah was like, I'm fucking out of here. And Bess was like, okay, I'll do it. And she like is really confident about doing it. Like she's not having, and I know that like contrasts with what I said about Sulu when they would like put Sulu in the captain's chair and he was like, I don't know if I can do this. It's like, it's like the Hufflepuff paradox, right? Like, where like, if you're not sure about something, you're really not sure about it. And if you are sure about something, you're really sure about it. So like Bess was really sure that she like was going to be good at this. She's like, I can do this. I have the skills.
You see it with other Hufflepuffs too, like with Thor. Thor knows that he's meant to like lead and be the leader of everything. And then what happens when it goes to shit a little bit? Like all of a sudden he goes into a depression and he's like, I'm not sure I'm actually the one to be doing this actually. Like, no, you are. You're great at it. But Bess, yeah, she took to it right away. Like she knew. She's like, Historical Society. Society, you say? I'd love to be part of a society.
I've learned magic. I will now
love to be part of one someday.
I will. I'll now take care of all of these objects with magical ability.
Yeah, and use them for my friends. But yeah, I just think it was. I mean, that was one of the best examples I could think of in Bess's show history. Like, you made her feel like she's a dummy and that she wasn't useful to you and that she couldn't help you. And then, well, now she's going to take up with the witch and she's going to become like really powerful and angry about it.
And let me say, like, this wasn't malicious. Like, Temperance was the bad guy, but there was a point where they were like cautiously using her, where they were like, maybe you're not that bad.
Except Nancy. Except Nancy.
Nancy was like, fuck that bitch the whole time.
Yep. She's like, Bess, I'm sorry I like called you stupid and useless and whatever. I respect everything that comes out of your mouth, but that bitch, I will never trust her. Yeah, pretty great. She's a good character. I really like where they like moved her and what they used her for now.
And
like
I don't know if
it's important.
After the whole Odette thing happened, and obviously Odette was a dead person, so they passed her on into heaven eventually. So Bess really did like love Odette. So then what happened was Bess was immediately like, gotta find somebody else. And she went on like a ton. Do you remember she was on the dating app and she was going on like date after date after date and she was like sleeping with these women and then like not talking to them again.
Yeah.
But it was very Hufflepuff in the like, I have to find somebody, like I can't be alone. I want to find a person.
Yeah. I want to belong somewhere. And it made sense just narratively. Like she starts off completely not knowing who she is, just wanting to belong somewhere. She gets into this terrible relationship and then like kind of rips her way out of it into this friend group where she then feels also sidelined until she eventually finds where she shines and where she's most useful. And interwoven throughout that, she's also trying to find a person to be with. And it's so, so important to her. Like you see it after she meets Addie, like in a recent episode, she's going to meet Addie's parents. And it's so important to her that everything is perfect. And that's so like, and it makes me sad for her that she feels like everything has to be perfect all the time or she's not good enough. And you could see that it was happening with her because she did the thing where Addie was like, they may not like that. And she's like, or will they not like me? You're telling me they're not going to like me? I knew it. They're going to hate me. Like, because she's so worried because she was rejected pretty hard by the Marvins too. Like that fucking sucked. And they're really bad people for that because it's your family. Like, are you serious? She's a good kid. Like, give her a shot. They were dicks. All the families are dicks except the Drews.
They are. Well, the rich ones, yeah.
Yeah, no, they really are. But no, George's family too. Her mother's a dick. Like, there's so many. Ace's parents are dicks. I fucking hate these people's parents. I have to tell you, like,
I like Ace's parents. I know you have.
What do you mean?
His mom didn't do anything. His dad
You're a psychopath. His mother's a bitch. You're No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Constantly cooking them all food.
Absolutely not. When his dad goes off on him and is like, get the fuck out. She's like, I have to listen to your father. Get the fuck out. Shut up. Shut up. Screw you people. You're terrible parents. I hate them. And they could be forgiven in time if they did the right thing and revealed their last name is Hardy. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Bess, who I think has really found her place in the sun in the group and extremely useful, which is something that a Hufflepuff really needs to be. Or the discontent in the chest. Oof. They gotta have a spot. I don't know. I'm okay with being useless, so I can't relate. But onto family that we like. So Nancy's family. Both of these men are Nancy's family, so I don't know who to start with.
I mean, one of them's adoptive family. One's biological.
Yeah, still family, though. So Carson, I guess? Or we can go into Ryan if you're more excited to talk about Ryan.
I don't care who we do next.
Oh, okay. So, since it's up to me, we're going to do Carson.
I just got some stressful news about work.
Oh, no.
I know.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
It's fine.
Ew. Real life bleeding into discussions of fiction. Gross.
No, and it's not even work time. Work's over.
No, it's not. Pretend you didn't see that because it's... Anyway.
Friday night.
Carson Drew. So Carson had... What is her mom's name?
Kate.
Nancy's mom?
Kate.
Carson and Kate. So they were this cute little love story back in the day. And he really, really loved her. They had a really good relationship. And from what I remember, it's like she's the counselor at the high school and Lucy goes to her, right?
Yes, she's the she's the guidance
Lucy's
counselor.
Going through a whole bunch of shit with the Hudsons and everything.
Well, Lucy's mom remember, she had some issues.
Okay, so she's mentally unwell and the Hudsons are dickheads.
And Lucy was also like depressed and she had a difficult home life.
So she goes to Kate
and Ryan, and she was dating Ryan Hudson, and Ryan would not. It was basically like they were a poorer family, so she was dating a rich kid. So it was like other side of the tracks, and Ryan wasn't allowed. Like Ryan didn't really want to reveal that they were dating. And then remember, his dad got onto his computer and sent Lucy those emails and said, "I'm breaking up with you. Kill yourself," or some shit like that. So that's what happened.
But I think it was also that they kept. I think either it was his mother or his father, but they were like, we'll pay you to stop seeing him. Like they really...
Yeah, they offered that at first. And then when that didn't work, they hacked into Ryan's email and were like, I hate you. I never loved you. Yeah.
Well, anyway, the problem with that was that she was pregnant with Nancy at the time.
And Ryan did not know.
Ryan didn't know. But Kate knew that this was a really troubled kid and like she was really going through it. And then one night, Kate gets a call. Drew and Kate rush over she's standing on top of a fucking cliff. She gave birth on a cliff. And
it's very dramatic in Maine.
She's like, take care of my daughter, please. And they take the baby. And before they know it, Lucy's off the cliff. So that's how Drew becomes a dad. Because we know at the end of season 1, technically Nancy is adopted. But this is really fucking... Okay. So we decided pretty early on that Carson was a Gryffindor. And I have to say, this is a huge Gryffindor move. Like, I guess this baby's mine now. Like, I guess I'm a dad.
No, they were gonna turn her over to social services.
Then they couldn't, Lauren.
But then they spent the night with her. Yeah. So what they did was they were like, let's go to Europe so nobody knows that Kate wasn't pregnant. And then we'll come back after a year.
Like, how did you get this infant?
With a newborn baby?
She had no paper. Like, how did you guys do this? I don't know, but I know a Gryffindor could. And did.
He was also a lawyer, and he was the Hudson's lawyer. So, I mean, he knew some shady shit.
But the Hudsons never knew about her, so
that was the whole point. Lucy was like, don't tell the Hudsons about her.
Yeah, so they never know about her until, like, much later. Obviously, she's fully grown. She's, like, 18, 19 when everyone solves this, including Nancy herself. So Carson Carson's like, I'm just never going to tell her. Like, we're just never, it's fine. She doesn't need to know. What you don't know doesn't hurt you, right? And then he ends up raising like the detective of all time. Okay. Like the detective, solving mysteries at 13 years old, rescuing kidnapped kids, like just, and he's probably like, fuck, she's going to figure it out. Like he's probably so stressed about it, but he's also like, she's never going to know. It's fine. She's never going to know. I'm just going to keep this bloody dress up in the attic and just pray that my detective daughter from like toddler age won't figure this out. Like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking, Carson? But he also did have to grapple with Kate's diagnosis. Kate got cancer and in Nancy's later teen years. And it's obviously a struggle for any family, but in particular, the way this all played out was that Kate didn't want Nancy to like miss out on anything. And she was like, no, go to the dance, go to prom, go to whatever. And she kept telling Carson, like, keep her away. I don't want her to just waste away here with me. Like, I want her to go live her life. And like Carson does that because he's just listening to instructions. And like, he wants his daughter also to be happy and to have these teenage experiences. But Kate dies and Nancy doesn't get to say goodbye. And oof, they like completely break apart. Like she wants nothing. She doesn't want to talk to him after that. She's obviously really mad. Like I didn't ever blame Nancy for that, but it sucked because you saw like it broke Carson and it made me feel really bad because Carson's a good guy. Like, and he was dealing with the death of his wife and now this breakdown with his daughter and it's just fucking heavy. It's heavy. So that's our first like introduction, I guess, into Carson. I think that was all of pretty much season 1 that they're navigating their problems. And then they do end up coming back together. But like, I don't know if something else happened after that. I can't remember.
Well, no, I mean, the end of the first season was Nancy learning that he's not her father.
Okay.
So then he leaves his house.
So this is what I was going to say. So like, she's a Ravenclaw. She punished him. Like, she was like, get out of your house and go sleep in your fucking office. This is mine now. And he's like, okay, all right. Anything you want. Like, you figured it all out and I'm a bad person. Fine. I'm the bad guy.
Also,
he just
paradoxically, he was like, wow, I'm so relieved I don't have to lie anymore.
Yep. Yeah, he was extremely equal parts just relieved and so sad. And like, Carson, you could have played it better. Like, the second she was solving mysteries as a preteen, I don't know how you thought raising the Nancy Drew that she wasn't going to figure that out. Like, now, he didn't anticipate a ghost of her biological mother to come and haunt the town. Granted, no one expected that, Carson, but she's Nancy. She was going to figure it out. I don't know if he ever was going to tell her. I don't think he would have because he was trying to keep her protected from them.
Well, yeah, he was trying to. And also, I feel like maybe he would have told her with Kate at some point. Kate died, so I don't know. Because I think what would have bothered him the most is if Nancy was like, Kate wasn't my mom. And then just completely disconnected from her. When Kate wasn't there to like explain herself or like continue a relationship with Nancy.
Yeah, well, her other parent option is a ghost that was vengeful and really damn, Lucy.
I mean,
like,
for
Lucy
good
was
reason.
Fucking with them bad. Yeah, but Nancy didn't do anything, and she fucked with Nancy a lot.
She fucked with Nancy to get her attention. She was really, she was doing all she could to get Ryan to go off a cliff. Like everything she could.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, so it also speaks to the like Gryffindor of Carson that at first he really like he told Ryan, he was like, fuck off, you're nothing. Like, I'm her father. It's you're absolutely nothing here. Your family is garbage. You're garbage. Stay away from my kid. And then like slowly Ryan chips away at that. Like ever so slowly he chips away at Carson. And it's like against all of Carson's feelings about it. And he's just like, oh, goddamn, I guess I'm stuck with you now. Fine. You can come with me on this little side plot and that little side plot. And somehow they became like her two dads.
Well, because remember Ryan moves in with them because Carson hates
it.
I know. Come on. No, he doesn't. No, not at the point.
At first, he hates Ryan.
Well, no. By the time he moves in, he doesn't hate Ryan. but he's like, Ryan's not doing chores. You know, no, because what happened is, so Carson like was the lawyer for the Hudsons before the Lucy stuff happened. And then after the Lucy stuff, when they got Nancy, he was like, I'm never working for the Hudsons ever again in my life. So then Ryan got Carson to represent him in the Tiffany case. And Carson was like, I'm working for you. I'm not working for the Hudsons. I'm working for Ryan.
Right.
And Ryan got in trouble for some other thing too. And then it got to the point where Ryan was like, I really don't want to be a part of my corrupt family. So like, I'm trying to separate from them. So Carson was like helping with the lawyerly stuff for that as well. And also he was helping Ryan build a case against them so that they would be, you know, punished by the law correctly. So like Carson that was kind of what started them being like grudgingly like, okay. I also like it helped that Ryan was moving in the right direction of like doing the right thing. Because Carson's a Gryffindor. Like that's the thing. Carson is a very cut and dry morality Gryffindor. He is a lawyer. He's got a very clear sense of like what is the correct thing to do. And he's not like some like goody ass two shoes about it, you know? Like if there's a justifiable reason for you breaking the law, such as like the supernatural, Carson's totally on board with that. He's like,
or taking a baby from the disturbed girl who just killed herself.
Yep.
Like he'll do
Carson,
it. Sure.
He's totally on board with that. But otherwise, he's pretty much like, the law tells you what's right, so we've got to follow the law. But yeah, so Ryan is doing the right thing. So that's kind of where they like, and then Ryan gets cut off because the Hudsons find out about this, and he's like, "Well, I have no money and I have nowhere to live." Nancy's like, "He can move in with us, right, Dad?" And Carson's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Well, do you remember when Carson and Nancy kind of make up too? Like, she's so Ravenclaw about it. She was like, I just don't think you ever really love me. And he's like, what? She's like, well, how do you love me?
How can you love me when I'm not yours?
She straight up asked that question.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Carson's like, you fucking little dickhead. I love you so much. Are you crazy? Like, she's just like, can you explain to me logically how you can love something that you did not bring into this world? Because it's really hard for me to like.
Because I never could.
Couldn't be me. She's so crazily her house. It's so funny. Oh my God.
No, but that reminds me. So this was Super Carson, and I remember it because it was after they had just made up. So it's Nancy's birthday, and she doesn't like her birthday. She doesn't want attention. And she got arrested, remember? So she was at the police station with the whole arbiter thing where they like locked him in or whatever. And Carson was showing up with pie for her because it's her birthday and she's been arrested. She's bringing her pie.
She's like, I don't want this.
Well, no, that's kind of yes, but also no. So like what happened is that the arbiter was like, you better get Carson Drew to go away or like I'm going to hurt him. So Nancy's allowed a phone call and she screams at Carson on the phone. She's like, you're not even my real dad. Why do you care about my birthday? I told you, like screams at him. And Carson goes home and is like, so Nancy gave me codes. It's really.
Yeah.
And they just have such a good relationship that even that they had like just gotten out of this like really bad patch, Carson was like, no, she was giving me codes. Like,
right. Yeah, but I mean, it's great. As a Gryffindor parent having a Ravenclaw child, like you got to navigate, you got to figure out the way they speak, like, because sometimes it's a completely different goddamn language. And she really does speak a different language. And he picked up on it really, really fast. You're right. I completely forgot about all that.
Because I loved it. I was like, I really thought he was going to be, I thought he was going to be hurt. I was getting upset for him. I was getting really upset. I was like, that was out of line, Nancy. And then he went home, did the Scooby Gang, was like, so Nancy's in trouble. Yeah.
And I mean, like even after
I'm sorry, they're the Drew crew. They do actually have a name.
They're the Drew crew. Yeah. Thank you. So I don't keep calling them the Scoobies by accident. It's so funny when you were talking about like the paradox of it, because it's true. Like even after during their fight and everything, like when he really is hating on himself, he's also like, but I'm free. Like I'm free. And I can still help her other little friends.
Like,
and she'll like
be
forgive me that way.
That's season when he becomes really good friends with Ace, you remember?
Yeah, and he's like really good to like Bess that season 2, and then even in the last season he's being like really great with George.
Bess stays with Nancy.
Yeah,
in the house.
He has a really good relationship with it, and you can see like he's still trying to be present and helpful. Like he's just not going to give up on his daughter, obviously, but being a dad is so integral. like so integral to who he is that he takes all these other kids under his wing. And Ryan, like even after they've reconciled, he's still just like, all right, how can I help all of you? Like, what do you need? And he's doing it while like sighing heavily and like, all right, I guess, sure. All right. But then he just does it. And he's like so sincere and helpful and good about it. And yeah, he wants you to do chores, Ryan. Okay. You can't just be a fucking slob. But he's a dad. Like, he's a Gryffindor dad to his core. So yeah, I don't know. I really felt for him just throughout that whole thing, because I know he was doing it to protect her from a horrible family and a horrible lineage. But it worked itself out in the best way possible. And it's really because of Ryan. If Ryan didn't change and have character development, I would have just said that Carson was right the whole time. And It's kind of a miracle that Ryan changed into who he is. So I don't blame Ryan at all, Carson at all, for seeing who the Hudsons were and being like, no, I don't need you to know this. You don't need to know that you're related to that mess.
Lucy told him too, right? She was like, and he's like, obviously Lucy knew she was dating Ryan. Obviously Lucy knows something.
Well, it's also very like Gryffindor to honor your promises and to honor what you said you were going to do.
Well, I mean, he does that twice, right? He doesn't tell Nancy that she's a Hudson because of Lucy, and he doesn't let Nancy not go to the dance because he promised Kate that like he would.
Yeah, and he's like, and I'll just eat all the shit for it, and that's fine. Like,
Yep.
He's like Nick that way. Like, Nick's just like, well, this might as well fucking be me. Sure. Fine. Great. Thanks. Oh my God. That's funny. I'm imagining having a little Ravenclaw running around, and it's like, damn, that's tough. She's out there just like ruling the world at 13.
Do you remember too, in the first season, he thought Nick was bad news because he defended Nick for manslaughter, obviously. Right. So he told Nancy, like, don't date Nick.
Right.
Which is like fine. Like, sure. I don't want my daughter
dating a murderer. A little bit there.
Dating a murderer. An alleged murderer. But then Nancy goes and like finds his court cases immediately, goes into his safe. So
yeah. You know. He just always really does work to do the morally correct, the morally right thing. Mm-hmm. And I think he has a pretty good compass. Like he's genuinely a good guy. She's lucky to have a great dad.
I was gonna say he like they get into trouble with the law all the time because of the supernatural shit they're doing. And he's immediately like, I'll defend you. Like, I'll be like pro bono, I'm sure. He's just like defending these kids from their and Nancy will ask him like law questions and shit like that. And actually, I think I remember at one point, I'm pretty sure he hired her as like his personal investigator.
Something like that.
Yeah, in like season 2 or season 3. So he really respects Nancy.
Yeah, he does.
And like what she does and like believes in her, which is, a good dad. So
he never stops worrying for her, but he also knows like I've got a kid that's going to barrel forward and do it anyway. Mm-hmm. Like despite my best efforts to protect her. So I might as well be in it with her and aiding alongside her. Like until he hits a certain point, like with the Ace thing, I understand why in this new season, he's like, you have to stop. Like you got to let it go. You're going to die.
Almost
and
died.
I'm going to die right after you. And she's like, you don't get it. And he's like, my wife died and I'm a grieving widow. I actually do fucking get it, kid. You don't know everything. So like, and his girlfriend, I don't like that it came to a point where he did the very Gryffindor thing where he was like, you know what? You're right, new girlfriend. I do have to process my grief as a widow so that I can move on with you.
But it's in character.
Who the fuck are you to like tell him when to process his grief over his dead partner? Who are you? And it doesn't matter if you're right or not. It's not something you say. Like, just mind your business. So he's obviously nowhere near me on Gryffindor chart.
Well, she gave him an ultimatum, right? Because she was like, I don't think I can be with you if you can't get over your ultimatum.
Oh my God. He's just a really well-rounded good guy.
Yes.
So she's got a good dad there. And then she ended up somehow also having a good biological dad. It just took him a little while longer to get there. Mm-hmm. You don't think Ryan's a good guy?
No. I think he is now. I do not think that he is like, and it's partly like nurture, right? Like the way he was raised.
Well, what I mean by that is that he's like a good person, not that he's a good father necessarily.
I know. No. I was trying to think if I would say like Ryan is inherently a good person or if he works very hard.
It's learned.
A good person. Yeah.
It's learned. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Carson is inherently a good person.
Yes, that's true. Yes. He had to work really hard to get, but that's what we were saying before about Ryan anyway. He has to work for it. Like,
no, and obviously there was something there. Like he loved Lucy. He did. So
yeah, he did. Well, the fact that he makes the right decisions after he learns what happened with Lucy, he's like, okay, then fuck my family. I'll be poor. Fuck all the money and connections. Like, I want my relationship with my kid. Like,
and he is like, my dad will kill Nancy if.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, at first he threatens Carson and tells him that he'll tell his dad that Nancy is his daughter, and also that he will get Carson arrested for kidnapping. But that's because he needs Carson's help. So he does a little bit of blackmail. But
that's just part of the family he's from and like who he like, what are you going to do? At the formative years, he was built in this extremely corrupt, terrible family that will literally kill your girlfriend if they don't like you with her. And some of that sticks. So yeah, sometimes he's still a little bit like, he's still a little sneaky about things, but he's really, really come a really long way. So, and it's funny.
Insanely,
I've always thought it was funny that he did not like Nancy before. He knew her.
She was like a nuisance, right?
She's sticking her nose everywhere. Yeah. And he was like, damn this.
He's like, I'm going to get in trouble with my dad. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, but the second he finds out that's his daughter,
it's like
it shifts completely.
It's like I can't. It's almost just like Nancy in reverse. Like, oh, you're mine. I love you. Like biologically.
Yeah, it is. Oh my God. Yeah.
I made that.
It is very like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it helps that he hates his family, right? He hates where he's from. He really does hate his fucking dad.
Yeah. And he was never like super, like his dad's not nice to him. I think he
calls him a weak piece of shit.
Yeah. I think he did love his mom.
I think so too.
Was in Celia. And actually Nancy liked Celia towards the end. So,
yeah,
she was an interesting character.
Her death was crazy.
And played by an incredible actress. Her death was insane. I was upset when she died. I was like, oh. Yeah. But so he like never liked his dad. He kind of needed, he's a Hufflepuff. This was what he knew. This was where he was told he belonged, and he believed that. Right. And he was doing his best to fit into that and to be what his dad wanted. He needed a little push to be like, you could be more than that. Like you could be a good person and you could have other relationships. So that I think finding out Nancy was his daughter and the truth of what happened with Lucy, because just like Lucy didn't know that the emails were not sent from him, he didn't know, like Lucy jumped off a cliff one night. Right? Yeah. And then he finds out that she had a baby that he was never told about. He was like robbed. Yes. Yeah. And he was robbed of 18 years of like fatherhood. And he did have a moment where he was like imagine who I could have been if I had Nancy. So yeah, but he does get that push that it's like, okay, Nancy's my family. And he does pretty quickly adopt Carson along with Nancy. They are a package deal. And he also, Ace is so good at this, and I don't understand why. He also has a really good relationship with Ace.
Ace is cool with everyone.
We haven't talked about it yet, but there is that one episode that focuses on Carson and Ryan when they get turned back into teenagers.
I love when shows do that.
It's a really good episode, and they're really good friends as teenagers. So but Ace is the one like chaperoning them the entire time. I love how he calls Carson Mr. D.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so funny. It's also like very Hufflepuff of him too. Like, so he goes from being in this extremely privileged life to not having to ask twice for something that he wants, right? He's used to snapping his fingers and getting what he wants. Then it shifts, and he's so devastated by the loss of having this child, the loss of his life with Lucy. You'd think that he'd immediately be all over Nancy and jump all over her and be like, we need to connect, because he wants it and he's used to getting what he wants. But Nancy's like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I can't do this yet. And he's like, okay, take your space. Like, he really gives her space. He gives her exactly what she needs, this is what I'm saying. Like, they developed him so correct. It's so right.
So when we meet him, he is married to Tiffany, who's murdered in the pilot. That's off the whole show. But he's having an affair with George, and I'm pretty sure that we mentioned this when we talked about George. He's having an affair with George, which is like legally fine, but not morally, like legally in the sense that she's not underage. So it's not like that kind of bad.
It's morally gross.
But he's cheating, which is gross, period. And she's much younger than him. So George puts a stop to that relationship pretty quickly after Tiffany dies. And he is like, he accepts it. He does not ever bother her again. And then when George is friends with Nancy and he starts developing a relationship with Nancy and like hanging out with her friends more, the show has him. So this is him. It's his character. He goes to George and gives her an extremely sincere apology where he like acknowledges the fact that what he did was like extremely wrong and taking advantage of her, and like he should have known. Like it's just a really good apology. And then he immediately goes into treating George like one of his daughter's friends. Like it doesn't feel gross at all, and I don't know how.
Weird that it doesn't, right?
I know. They did it so well.
Well, I think it helps that I don't remember. It must be season 2.
I think it is when he
entire
apologizes
season
to her.
is Ryan like working to take down his family. When he's like, she's going to be the next Hudson to mysteriously fucking die now that they know, not on my watch, and I don't care that Carson won't talk to me. I don't care that Nancy won't talk to me. I don't care that George won't talk to me. Like, I'm going to figure it out. He doesn't even care. Like, somehow Nancy's like, somehow she feels responsible for his mother's death. And he's like, it's his mom, and he loves his mom. He's still like, it wasn't your fault. It's not you.
Yeah. And
like,
that was the end of season 2.
Yeah, but the whole leading up to it, he's like working in the wings. He doesn't even have their help sometimes, and he's still trying to figure out ways.
No, he's doing it on his own. He's doing it with Carson.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
He tries so fucking hard. And it's like they beat on this dude for an entire season nonstop. Like, George didn't forgive him right away. Nancy fucking dolts him every minute she could. I don't want you in my life. Like, you're gross. Your family's gross. Like, I'd like, leave me alone, whatever. And he just takes it. He's in there like tampering with police records and figuring out like how to bug their offices and shit. Like, he's trying so hard. And somehow it worked. It worked because as the viewer, you're like, everyone loves Ryan now.
No,
and
yeah,
I don't know how it happened.
And it's like, so you can see him when Nancy first starts letting him in. Like, he'll go to Carson and be like, something's up with Nancy. Like, should I talk to And he's so excited to like to be able to go talk to Nancy or to realize that he knows her well enough that he knows that something is wrong. He's so excited to know that. He's like, oh my God, I'm like her dad. Like, he's really happy about it. Like, that's what he wants to be. He wants to be Nancy's dad. And he's really happy to do that. Like, that's the role that he's fitting in now. And like this just happened in season 4 that he got caught up in like relic hunting. So he's really, really good at finding like magic objects or whatever. And so he doesn't tell Nancy this. And so Nancy's like mad at him because this can cross over into like dark web, territory where it's not really good. And so Ryan's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. He's just like, I'm just really good at this. Like, I'm really good at it. I can do it. And I've never been good at anything before. He's just so earnest. He's so earnest. I was telling Rachel this because we just watched all of season 4, everything that's happened in season 4 before over the last few days. And I was like, Ryan is so earnest and uncomplicated. Like, he's just a beautiful person.
It's true.
He does not need a lot to be happy, to be good with life.
To be happy. He's just happy to be
He's
there.
happy to be here. Yep. And doing his thing. Like, it's crazy.
Truly, he's like just a golden retriever. Like, just happy you take me on a walk. Let me get some time in the park.
Notice me.
He's just like, it's wild. But his love for her is really pure and immediate. Because like, it still boggles my mind. Like, if you were annoyed constantly by this nuisance detective kid that won't stop snooping in you and your family's affairs, and like just the sight of them, you're like, oh my God, fuck off. And then you find out that's actually your long lost daughter with like the girl you really loved that your dad had murdered. Like, it's crazy. He just assimilates to it. Like, it just is so immediate because that's who he actually is. He's not this like hardened rich boy asshole that like the role that he was playing his entire life. He doesn't really ever even like being part of it. He loves Lucy. He wants to be with Lucy. Like, given enough time, I think he would have just said, fuck my family and just been with Lucy. I mean, that's proven by how he acts with Nancy. He's like, fuck my family. I want my daughter. Like, he just is that way. And it's sad. I feel for him, like, all the time he lost and just everything he had to emotionally go through. It's fucked up. Like, he really had a lot of hard truths to face. And he could have come out of that really bitter and angry and feel like things were owed to him. Like a relationship with Nancy was owed to him, or like retribution even. And he's just interested in protecting her and just keeping her alive and safe.
He just wants to know her from this point. And like what you said, too, the show, when it opens, does try to be like, this is like some rich white man asshole. And it only makes it a few episodes before it's like, like, you know, that starts to break down. Because the more you get to know him, the harder it is to be like,
well, the show's really good with social commentary and also just like telling the truth about things, right? Like, they don't let him off the hook for certain things. They tell you for like 2 straight seasons after, even when he's trying so hard to be one of them, they're like, shut up, you're a dick. Like, you're from a dickhead family, you're an asshole. And like, you were terrible to George, whatever. Like, they keep reminding him, like, you're not off the hook. You're just not. And now that he is, and now that he's part of everything, no one treats him like that anymore because he doesn't act like that anymore. And he tries to help where he can. He actually is pretty helpful. Like, even just what happened the last episode was the girl, who's that cop? I don't know her name. The blonde cop.
Oh, I don't like her.
He's in her office with her privately. He's trying to get information. And she's like, she thinks he's flirting. And she's like, oh, why? You want to know more? Like, why? What are you, like, flirting with me, whatever? And he's like, if you want to think that. Yeah. He kills me.
It's like, whatever floats your boat, lady.
Yeah, he's like, whatever you want to believe. But like, he said it all sexy, and it didn't make her smile drop at all. Like, you just got roasted. He told you, like, no, ew. And you're like, okay.
And he's blackmailing her. I was telling Rachel, too, I was losing my mind because he picks up something from her desk and then, like, puts it on his inside jacket pocket while he's talking to her. I'm like, I think he took a pen or something. I was like, bro, what are you doing?
He's just along for the ride. Like, he's gonna get results, though.
Yep.
I cried laughing when it was revealed that he was the guy with the relic. He was I don't remember his fake online screen name, but it was like a gazelle something. It was a reference to a gazelle. And he's got his baseball cap on, and Nancy's looking from the bushes, and she's like, you're fucking joking. It's just Ryan. Ryan just does this in his spare time. Like, how did they make him so sweet? Like, I don't know. Like, I can trace it, but it just doesn't make sense because he's so the guy that you'd hate. But wow, they fucking turned that around. And it boggles. I don't know if I've ever seen a show give a redemption arc like that. Like, we're going to be talking about in the next episode, just coming down the line, we're going to be talking about the new Star Wars movies. And you have a character like Kylo Ren, right, who's a villain, and then they try to give him this redemption arc at the end.
It doesn't work.
And it doesn't hit. It just doesn't hit. And I'm trying to think of other characters they try to give redemption arcs to, like they try vaguely with Draco to make him like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. Doesn't hit. I don't care. Like, it's just not, it's not. I'm just
like,
for me.
He's just an asshole, but like not as big a one, and he's not bothering Harry anymore. Is basically what I came away.
Lauren is already privy to this, and we'll be talking about this in like 4 weeks. Spike has a great one on Buffy.
Yes.
Like, it's gotta be done well.
Spike's I was gonna say, Spike. I mean, I know that I'm not there yet, but currently he's like not trying, and he's already in redemption arc mode.
It's hard though. It's so hard for a show to make someone so shitty, so beloved. Like, Spike's a fan favorite forever. And I think Ryan will be too. Like, I don't even remember half the time anymore the shitty things Ryan did.
Me neither.
In the first season.
It's hard.
It doesn't even.
Like, you remind me of that whole George thing, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I know. Because even George is like, whatever. This is fucking Ryan. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, and George as a Slytherin is like, I was there too. So, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess sometimes she takes responsibility for things. Yeah. Sometimes.
Shut up, Rachel.
I'm mad at her about Nick. Do my boy better. Do my boy better.
Gotta find
number
herself.
one Nick Defender.
Gotta find
2023. I think that's all I have to say. I think.
Yeah, I
Unless
lost
you
you
have
for a
more.
little bit in there. It started storming real
Really?
hard here, so I'm afraid that the power's gonna go out. My internet
No.
bobbled, and it's bobbling right now.
Yeah, you're getting. She's starting to cut out for me. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yep.
Thanks
It's
for
good thing
listening.
we finished.
If you were listening intently, you know coming down the pipeline we have Star Wars and then we have Buffy. So you're in for some
Woohoo!
mungo treats. And we will see you next time in space.
Bye,
Goodbye.
guys.
Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!